seen those in a long while. Still, Vitality want to limit it, want to take it off the board. Now the Karma taken away. She went from non-existent to ban-worthy in a single patch. But sadly, we will not get to see her in this first game. Aatrox also banned away, another one of those nerf champions we heard about. The Rise up and available, if still worth picking. The Yuumi as well.
This does mean that Sona has slipped to the ban phase. Now, a lot of the LEC teams will look to priority pick this champion. XL is one of the few that don't like to touch it. And so as they hover Sylas here, there we go. I was going to say I'd be really curious about it, but there we go. Finally, XL are on the Sona bandwagon.
Taking that away, now the interesting thing, Vitality, do they want to limit the potential picks that it can be paired with? They are going to grab the Tahm Kench, so taking away the Sona Tahm Kench pairing. A lot of debate between whether that or the Taric is the superior option. Both give you different things, and now I think pretty easy Taric pick going to be coming through here for the side of XL. No surprises there. They will have one more pick in this phase. We'll see if they want to match the Jarvan, pick a jungler or a top lane of their own, or if they want to try something different.
By grabbing the Taric here, it would mean that they need to start speccing their composition to suit towards more of a 5v5 traditional style, because that's where you get a lot of the power in Sona Taric versus Sona Tahm Kench. Sona Tahm Kench gets, I believe, a bit more flexibility into the lane phase. It can be a bit more aggressive, whereas you need more jungle assistance when you have a Taric. And basically, you just kind of sit back and wait for it to be over. You're just kind of praying down there in that lane phase.
I honestly, anytime a Sona Taric makes it through lane phase, I'm a little sad, because if you've ever played against it even once, you're sad about this combo.
I mean, the nice thing is that anytime you first pick the Sona and then it demands that you take away the Tahm Kench if you want to separate that power duo, it then means that you're taking Sona Taric into a lane that doesn't get to punish it. Often when we see the counter to Sona Taric, it was with things like a Blitzcrank, but because you already know it's going to be a Tahm Kench, it could theoretically give you a free lane phase. So it's really cool how those interactions affect the entirety of the draft.
Definitely do, and now we see the Tahm Kench paired with a Tahm Kench Classic. That is the Varus. Making up for that champion's lack of any escape tools. Also, Varus incredibly powerful at pushing in the early lane. But while the Varus is interesting, I think the Olaf being a continuously rising priority here in the LEC is even cooler.
I think anytime you're against Vitality, you need to make sure that you have the winning jungle matchup. And Olaf is one of those champions that dominates jungle matchups. You know that Mowgli's going to come blitzing into your jungle, so just be ready that you're going to get punched in the face. You need to have firepower to punch him back.
Pretty hard to punch an Olaf back in the early game. Most definitely. I like that. What do we call it? Mowgli sociopathic. When he's willing to go into your jungle at level 1, at level 2, at level 3, and fight you, even if it means putting himself behind.
I think the Reddit comment was psychopathic.
Psychopathic. There you go. I don't think we're going to see much of that today, depending on if he wants to go for the J4 or if we'll see the swap. Now, the Nico also taken off the table, something that, of course, SK Gaming do love, but hasn't been nearly as popular since the changes to Rageblade.
That's still a lot of ranged champions left up for that top lane, the likes of the Kennen as well as the Gnar. There's also the Rumble. One of the curiosities that I had is, as Sylas drops down into priority, I think Rumble then climbs up in priority, because you no longer need to make sure that the Sylas isn't there for the Rumble to be effective, for how Sylas steals Rumble's ultimates, and then have the CC to keep you locked down on it.
Now the hover on the Sylas will, in fact, get locked in. Have to see where that goes. Of course, you heard about the numerous nerfs to this champion. I believe the most important is that wave clear on the Petrosite burst, his passive, but still Vitality will prioritize it.
I mean, it changes up his trade windows. He's no longer as oppressive as he once was into the lane phase, but I think it just makes Sylas a bit more situational, because the creative ceiling that you still have on this champion is quite impressive.
Interesting indeed. And now Sona, of course, a lot of immediate burst damage as you move later in the game, but not necessarily as much sustained damage. That will now be balanced out by the fact that they have an Azir on this XL composition. Very heavy magic damage. Olaf a bit physical, a bit of true, but may want to balance it out with one final pick that is physical damage. Are they going to go for a Jax? That... I don't know. This is the thing that I love about Expect, is I'm never 100% sure what he's going to play, what kind of crazy pick he's going to want to pull out here.
I don't think it's
literally
going to be
none of these.
That makes more sense.
There you go. The Renekton now locked in, going to the hands of Expect, one of his best picks. And I want to see what Cabo's going to prioritize here. Of course, his Jace has been taken away. The Hecarim, the only other pick that he's played this season thus far. Did play Rumble last season. Wasn't nearly as good as it is now in this current meta. Could also get a jungler here.
TikTok.
Ooh, Froskurinn. This is, I'm getting baited by the classic caster trap of talking about the hovers. I was excited about it. It will, in fact, be the Kennen. Did see some hits on the previous patch. Of course, no longer gets the resistances on the Lightning Rush, but still can use that E-start to proc. There it is. Kleptomancy. Plock. I'm going to go with Plock. That's definitely the word. And interesting, now I like what we're seeing in the top side of the matchup. Renekton, of course, the champion that always wants to get aggressive, wants to get in your face. And when you're talking about Expect versus Cabo, That's what I like to see, Frosk.
And it feels like the priority is very different between these two teams. So early game, I do want to draw attention to the fact that you have Azir, who gets a lot of mid-priority in most matchups with his pushing ability, and then you have the likes of Olaf, a great skirmish-oriented jungler. So it feels like XL really gave firepower to their mid-jungle duo, and I expect them to try to exploit that either through control and tracking Mowgli, or actually going on the aggressive against Mowgli. Whereas on the other side for Vitality, you have so much control over the bottom lane with a Varus Tahm Kench. Varus can pick when and where he wants to push the wave by when he just starts spamming his abilities out. And the other thing is we expect Sona and Taric getting jammed underneath their tower. Varus is also very good at punishing champions underneath towers with his long-range ability.
I'm ready to find out which one of these teams will find their first win of the 2019 summer season. It is XL versus Vitality. We talked about it for both these teams. We kind of want to see ease of execution, especially for the side of XL, a comp where they can push their R buttons and take people out. Now, Sona Taric late game, that feels like a pretty safe backup plan, Froskurinn. As long as nothing goes too crazy, I feel like XL might just have this late game in the bag.
Ease of execution.
Every time I can see that graphic, I get hype, and of course, especially hype now for today's game. XL versus Vitality. So we check in on the Rift. Anytime there's an Olaf, I've always got my eyes on the early game, because we've seen what can happen across regions, seasons, patches. Anytime an Olaf gets ahead, people have to be terrified.
I feel it.
Yeah, all right.
I felt like this match coming into predictions, it was going to be a coin flip. You heard it from VETI and Ender. Everyone seems split. Who's actually going to win this one? But again, focusing in on the game, I want to take a look at Mickey, particularly on this Azir. It feels like Mickey was kind of the first variable that XL really introduced to try to get this roster up and running. And unfortunately, he just hasn't had the time really to adjust to the LEC or to showcase us anything. So by running the teleport in particular, Mickey is so responsible for never losing mid-priority here for Caedrel to be effective on this Olaf. But having TP, yeah, he can use that to cheat some backs, but it also means he needs to be so careful to the 2v2 gank pressure that can come out of Sylas as well as Jarvan. Not as strong as it once was, but if he ever burns his flash, Azir basically loses most of his kit because he likes to be forward pressing his advantage.
And a high-pressure situation to be in, of course, two rather unfortunate games last week for Mickey, but this week it could be a different story. Confidence from Jactroll, just going to walk forward here. A lot of auto attacks. Really got to be careful there. The Taric walking to melee range. Already a level 2 gank coming in from Mowgli. The flash out from Mickey. That's right what you were talking about.
What did I say? As soon as Azir loses his flash, he loses so much teeth, so much bite in this matchup. Because again, he wants to be forward, just like Jace, to really abuse the potential of his kit. And now it's so much more dangerous to do that.
I'm just surprised. Mowgli going for the snap level 2 gank. Not something we very frequently see in competitive, but not costing him too much either. A bit of a deficit in the jungle. Olaf was always going to out-clear here. Very powerful clear speed for Caedrel. As he takes away those Krugs for the level 3 pathing. Does he show himself on the bot side of the map? That's my big question.
I think he can just power farm at this point. He knows that his mid laner has just lost flash, so I think Caedrel's just trying to recalculate what his options are.
They have to look more towards that mid lane. And Attila and Jactroll doing kind of what is expected with a Varus on the bottom side of the map. I like this. They're not giving up. They're not getting over-aggressive, but they're playing aggressive enough to make it difficult for the Sona and the Taric to farm up. Don't want to give Sona those free stacks.
And again, Varus is one of those champions that when he does get people shoved underneath the tower, he can actually punish them. Unlike the likes of Sivir, who just kind of approaches the tower and then maybe can whittle away. She gets a couple of W bounces underneath. Varus can really start chunking people.
And you see it already in the trade pattern. A couple autos, quick hail of arrows just to proc that. Incredibly impressive bot lane to play against, but we always knew that this was not going to be a Sona Taric favored early game. However, the battle of the junglers might be interesting. Caedrel actually going to back off here. There's a lot of immediate burst damage in the back pocket of that J4, so you do have to be careful. And Jiizuke with priority in mid lane means Caedrel will not take the risk.
I also think that's a potential for Vitality to secure both Scuttle Crabs on both top and bottom. And with the positioning of both Kennen, Tahm Kench, and Varus, that means so much that you can create that safety net in the river to allow these champions to really exploit the side lanes.
And normally when we see Vitality compositions, we expect it to be all about topside, and it definitely feels like it can be that way, but literally all 3 of Vitality's lanes have push priority right now. They're in such a fantastic position.
Yeah, so there you go. You can see Mowgli on your screen. He took top scuttle, he went back for his Raptor camp, and then he walked across the back of mid lane and will now get bottom scuttle. Big win for Mowgli.
And he got the level 2 game. Mowgli getting so much out of this early game. And sadly for Caedrel, he just has not been relevant on the map quite yet. Maybe that changes. He is going back for first items. We'll see what he does want to rush. No Predator for the Olaf. It is Flash and Conqueror, so something a little bit different here.
Again, if you know Mowgli's going to walk into your jungle, be ready to fight him.
Yeah, I mean, challenging Smite as well, so definitely giving a lot of respect to the dual potential here.
Also makes his team fights really strong, and it is a Sona Taric Azir composition at its core.
Very true. The Olaf running at you with a Taric ult and a Taric stun. Kind of the icing on the terrifying cake.
I think it's the Taric ultimate on top of the Olaf sprinting at you. That's really the terrifying thing.
Ugh.
Caedrel here is just to make sure that Mickey can get this push into the tower in case Jarvan does show up. He's ready for the 2v2, which is why he was standing in Fog of War just behind Mickey.
I like that he has that knowledge, something that he had to have practiced, knowing exactly where the creep wave was going to spot him, knowing that relative creep vision range. An important skill to remain undetected. Expect finally able to push the lane back out, though, now that he's level 5. A little bit more wave clear, a little bit more points in Cole the Meek. Meanwhile, in bot lane, the important thing we always have to track in Sona lanes is how quickly she's stacking, in this case, the Frostfang. And Jessica doing a lot better now that he's been able to back off, has a few more health pots, and we'll kind of just sit cozy in this lane.
I also think we need to kind of reevaluate Sona's power windows in terms of when she actually starts hitting really hard, especially for how quickly games are going in the LEC. Basically, as soon as the Sheen is completed, while it's not the same power spike as like the Lich Bane as well as the Archangel's increased, Sona still does a ton of damage. Just because you're missing a traditional marksman doesn't mean that you lack firepower in team fights.
No, absolutely not. The power of the crescendo is absolutely terrifying. And the additional sustain on so many champions with built-in healing already, that's the Olaf and the Renekton, can be quite frustrating to deal with. Varus, though, one of the few champions with grievous wounds in the kit, so at least a small positive interaction there in the lane phase and the potential team fights to come.
As long as he stays alive, he's still dealing with the fact that Caedrel and Mickey will cause a lot of health for him, and then you put Expect on top of it. Attila needs to be on point for these team fights.
Oh, and you can see the bait there. Expect getting the better end of the trade. If Cabo wanted to win, he had to extend it, and he did so.
Yeah, I don't know about Cabochard. I've eaten alligator before. It's not delicious. That is not worth the bite.
Well, I was going to say it's more the giant, scary, angry Viking.
And the texture, it's awful.
Okay. We'll cut this part from the broadcast we send to PETA. No, they don't need to hear about your free time habits. And Froskurinn, I feel like Mowgli got that one play, and otherwise it hasn't been too crazy of an active game. But now I think things are going to change. We've got a Glacial Augment Tahm Kench. He's going to waddle his way out of that bush any moment now. But look at this. They're giving it, there he goes.
Look at him go.
Here comes the Emperor, baby. Here comes. Okay.
That was the
here he comes.
He's car chase I've ever seen.
He's still on the way. Hit the tongue lash.
Got the flash.
Got him. And now
here we go.
The lane, of course, frozen. So there's just the rinse and repeat option here.
You guys know. Come on, Jessica.
But the flash has been burned. That's a cheeky walk up to that bush there, Jessica. I don't know if you're going to survive, but Mowgli now spotted on the vision. Means they'll have perfect knowledge of where he is and what he's doing. So Caedrel gets to respond on the top side, farming up, getting a level advantage. Level 6 for Caedrel, level 5 for Mowgli. Maybe that changes as the red buff goes down. You can see Jiizuke making good use of the lane pressure. Ooh. Oh! No.
Close. I was curious what they were going to do with the information. So by seeing that Mowgli went for the red, obviously XL knew what the heads up was. They tried to steal it away from the Sona. I was curious if that meant that Caedrel would try to make a dive happen in the top lane, but instead he is backed and he is sprinting back towards this bottom lane while Vitality are setting up for a potential dive, pulling Sylas down.
And one of the most infuriating things about playing against Sylas Froskurinn is when he gets to be level 6 and you don't, and he takes an ult that you don't even have access to yet. The Sona ult and the Taric ult could both be incredible in the event they want to go for a dive.
I think the big dissuasion here is not just the fact that Azir started to walk down and you don't have information of Caedrel, but there's so many teleports in this game. If you ever mess up a dive, everyone and their mother will appear in that bot lane.
Oh no.
When my mom shows up, it's not good.
God bless. Oh, Froskurinn. Familial trouble. How classic. For now, waiting for level 6. It is the Sona Taric waiting room on the side of XL. Those champions will be relevant. They will be terrifying, but not right now. That stun not even remotely going the right way to hit the primary target. Mowgli's still going to move forward. Now leaping in. Mystique splashes out to save you. Jactroll to save the day. Clean engage from the side of Vitality.
Yeah, beautifully done. MVP there to that ward that they've placed into the brush to make sure that Mowgli can get down there. But here comes Caedrel with a... Did you get ganked or are you getting ganked? He's getting ganked.
He's getting ganked. The flash over the wall. And of course, you expect to fall behind a little bit in the Sona Taric lane, but Froskurinn, after that kill, it is already a 2K gold deficit for the side of XL. That is an incredibly difficult spot to be in. The difference between the bot lane alone. Tahm Kench has more gold than the Taric. The Taric is the one CSing.
And unfortunately, to put the spotlight on XL's coach, coming into this, he had confidence that his team was ready, that subbing in Jessica and Mystique, so they felt comfortable in a lot of the current meta matchups.
Sure.
And so while Sona and Taric, not necessarily the strongest laners, especially against the likes of Varus Kench, you never want to lose this hard.
Absolutely not. We'll see if that changes. As more stacks do come through, the Varus TPing back to bot lane to sustain the pressure. Tongue Lash comes out, but will not connect. And what he said was, we're trying to find the best way for our team to win. But when you're 0-4, I really feel like it's find any way for your team to win. And hopefully that this Sona Taric is the answer. But the early game, not there. The combos on the side of Vitality, very clearly there, however.
Yeah, great synergy, and finally some attention given to Jactroll and Attila for the Vitality show. It's basically been Mowgli holding Cabochard's hand, but a very different look this time around. Yeah,
and Mowgli, of course, when you look at it, has not had the best split thus far. A lot of deaths in the early game, kind of getting caught out. It always felt like something was falling apart for Vitality, and Mowgli always had to try to make a play on the map. 36.14 percentage. I'd say relatively high. Overall, you can see second, counter jungle percentage third. So very much keeping to his signature play style, but it just hasn't been as effective. This game, however, does really feel like a different story.
I do like this play that Vitality are currently setting up, though, having Jactroll on the back, looking topside, and he can bring Mowgli or go in.
Going forward. Expect now needs to dash his way out. Double dash is going to come through. 1 and 2. Getting a little bit extra healing on the Cold Meek. The flash out to safety now brought back by the Tahm Kench. That Devour. Such a huge piece of CC there. Expect gets taken down by Cabochard.
Beautifully done. And Attila just in time has also rotated up. You see the ping go down to the Rift Herald. It's a 2-for-1.
Vitality absolutely outplaying here in the early game. Maneuvering around the map better. Using their lane pressure better. And now building towards a 3K gold lead, 2.5 plus a Rift Herald. This is only going to continue to grow as Kennen is in the top side of the map, getting tower plates for himself. Beautiful start to the game for Vitality.
And this is exactly what Vitality need to do. They need to use things like the Rift Herald to get these early game gold into their pockets, because their champions spike really hard on 1 and 2 items. Whereas again, you're against the clock and the timer for XL's composition. Eventually, XL can outscale, but if Vitality can springboard themselves ahead of the clock, ahead of Vitality, where they make a large enough gold difference, they can end this game before XL even get to put up a fight.
And to me, the early game power, so much of it was supposed to come from Caedrel, usually the standout member on this XL lineup, but just has not been able to do anything this game. Barely ahead in CS, has not been able to make really any plays whatsoever, forced to flash out, and sad to see an Olaf not find that effectiveness in the early game.
Looking back at this gank, pretty straightforward. I do want to credit the macro rotations from Vitality to recognize when they had a reset and what to do with the reset. They made the play happen down bottom, they then quickly made their backs and then immediately sent their bot lane up towards the top side of the map, realizing that Rift Herald and the kill top was worth more than the Cloud Dragon.
And now I want to see what they do with that Rift Herald Froskurinn. Are they going to go into mid lane and try to break that open? You can see Sona and Taric making their homes there for now. Good news for the side of XL and XL fans is that the Sona does now have the Spell Thief's Edge upgraded. We'll be able to start CSing, putting more and more gold into her pocket, building towards that Sheen, a bit more damage for herself as well, but I don't think the mid lane tower is going to be safe for that much longer.
And also, XL need to be very careful if anyone stands under this. The fact that they pulled Cabochard since he had rotation means that they could look for a dive if they're feeling frisky.
I'm trying to push for it. Cabochard is backing off, has already used the Lightning Rush, no flash either. So will just retreat. And interestingly enough, both mid laners now off to the side lanes. Vitality just chipping away. Will not be able to break anything, however, in the end. So maybe not the ideal usage, but a good bit of tower plate. And Capo now might just walk this Renekton down.
Mowgli's sprinting at them. This is about to be a 2v1.
Expect one dash away. I think he hit the creep, can refresh. Does he have the usage? Not quite yet. It's just going to go in and get taken out immediately. Wanted to use the Cold Meek for healing, but the stun is going to stop it. Mickey now trying to make the big play. Jessica on the way in with the Sona. That's going to be big. Is it going to be enough? However, Tahm Kench on the way up. Cabochard's at the fall. They just barely get him. Varus is here for backup. He's going to grab the kill as well. The sidestep from Jessica. So clean, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Flag and drag. Where's it going to go? Zhonya's perfect timing window. Are they going to take it? Jactroll tanking, well coordinated by Vitality. A clean dive and a 2-for-1.
And XL lose
3-for-1.
so much there because Jiizuke also on the bottom side of the map gets to push down that entire tower. They're getting plates into the top side. It's just chip damage in the mid lane for XL back in their pockets.
Ooh. An incredibly difficult situation for XL. We expected this to be a much closer game. You talked about it being a coin flip. It could go either way depending on which team shows up today. And right now, Vitality are the team that are showing up. 5K difference, 14 minutes into the game. This is a dominance from Vitality we have not seen in, what, 120 days now at this point?
And credit to Jactroll and Mowgli. Right place, right time, every single time. It's Jactroll especially getting those rotations, using the Abyssal Voyage, and matching so many TPs in this game.
Good look overall, especially for part of the map that we were highlighting as a weakness. The dominance that they've shown in the early game, putting some faith back into Vitality fans, and rightfully so. In this case, we check in across the board. However, those first items are coming in Froskurinn, so Vitality just very strong overall.
Oh yeah, give me the nice angle. Give Vitality fans some life here.
And there's not a lot you can do. Kennen will walk you down, so you're kind of forced to all-in, use the ult there, use both dashes. Can't make it out of that one. You can see maybe we had enough healing with Cold Meat to survive for a few extra seconds. Sona ult coming in as well. With the Taric ult, you can see we saw Rogue do it successfully. Now everybody wants to do it, but while they do grab that single kill, it's a bit unfortunate in the end.
Yeah, the turnaround again, fancy footwork from Jessica. Do want to credit that. Good mechanical showing, but unfortunately sitting duck under a tower.
And it was so close to being a highlight moment. If Renekton lives for 2 more seconds, if he's not CC'd, he gets a bit of healing. Sona comes in with the Taric ulti attached. It could have been that Rogue highlight all over again for XL, but minor execution error, and when you commit both TPs and it goes wrong, ugh, that is a deficit to crawl back from.
But we're now at a 5K gold difference between them, and again, Vitality's composition really strong on 1 and 2 items. I want to highlight Kennen's items in particular. The fact that he is that close, does have access to the stopwatch, but almost has the hourglass. As soon as he does, like, team fight city from Vitality. They will go toe-to-toe with XL's composition.
And honestly, a perfect spot to be. Mickey might not even get a chance to go to Teamfight City. He's just going to have to go back to the fountain here in a second. The flash not going to be enough. Dragging himself out with the shifting chance. Mowgli trying to walk him down, but that's a lot of damage being fired back. Mystique flashing over the wall. Mowgli in the midst of no man's land, and suddenly the fight is starting to turn. Jiizuke, not a lot left. Uses the stolen Azir, but Cabo in the midst of everything, and that's a meat grinder right there. Vitality with the turn on the back of Cabochard.
Late to the party, but better than never right there. Unfortunately, they don't have the Baron to immediately turn to it. Still only 16 minutes in this game, but you can see how confident Vitality are, how they know that they're strong, and they're starting to shove XL around.
And then this Alienware replay, we can watch it one more time.
Starts out with a good pick. I have to be frank, Mickey just should not be there. There's no reason, they don't have any control of that. That is definitely their weak side of the map. The wave is pushed in, you don't have any vision control. He wanted to check, he thought he was safe. He was very, very wrong.
And there's that moment where you group up, folks, for that Taric ultimate, and you think, ah, we've saved our team. There's also that moment where the Kennen sees you all group up for the Taric ultimate and says, 2 seconds, 1 second, team fight win.
Delicious.
Oof.
There's that hourglass now completed. Cabochard says, thank you, I'll see you in the next team fight.
God, it only gets harder from here. I like the Vitality are willing to go. I like their use of Sona and Taric. Clearly looks like a practice strategy. They've got the timings down pretty well, but they're just in so much of a deficit. They're actually, when a Kennen is ahead like this, it feels so impossible to play any kind of grouped exchange.
And you know, I can see what XL were thinking. You know, banning Sejuani from blue side because they know that they priority pick Sejuani, that Mowgli will probably go Olaf, maybe even the Trundle that we've seen globally, and they can punish in the jungle. So like, okay, we're against Vitality, we're against Mowgli, let's get Caedrel something like the Olaf. We're against Attila and Jactroll. These guys have been really suffering in the bot lane. We can probably get away with Sona Kench, Sona Taric if need be. And it's just great that Vitality seems to have finally found their form, that they didn't lose the bot lane. They knew exactly where they needed to play around. They got so much gold into their pockets, and they look so much cleaner across the board. Like, XL's game plan, I totally agree with it. It just didn't execute for them.
Yeah, paper perfect, but definitely not perfect on the day or on the Rift. Has been a struggle thus far. Gold League going to continue to grow. 9K for Vitality, grabbing a Cloud Drake as well to balance things out. Jiizuke with a stolen and much more powerful Sona ult than the one that Jessica has. Cabochard might be able to 2v1, but is not going to push for anything else here. Just waiting to see if he has the opportunity. Attila and Jactroll pushing up the mid lane, have a bit of pressure. And it's hard for me to know what to take from this game as we see everyone pushing in across the map. Froskurinn, is this like a revitalized Vitality? Is XL just at the bottom of the table? What does this actually mean for our league?
I'll hold it though.
Yeah, here comes the redemption, now being taken away. Jiizuke going to heal up a decent amount. Expect trying to chase him down, but Mowgli behind. They want to run in. Stun now going to connect there. Backing off, actually hits a creep in the end. Oh no, Jactroll right into the middle of everyone. Well, they wanted to eat some fish. They definitely got it. Shut down. Tragic play there. Vitality were not ready for that one.
Yeah, XL finally able to close the trap. That said, in the long run, yeah, XL do get the kill onto Tahm Kench, but they expended so many ultimates, and so kind of in the immediate future, if Vitality do want to press their luck, they still have access to things like the Cataclysm as well as Cabochard's ultimate that you can really punish while that Sona ult and Taric ultimate are down. So there is a small window here where if XL are caught out of position and Vitality do want to force the fight, it could be a big swing.
Yeah, it's an opportunity, and that is the silver lining on this cloud. But for Vitality, we take a look back at this one, and I think these are the moments from Jiizuke I love where he's dueling in the side lane. It takes a lot of help from Jactroll here. He saves Jiizuke, he uses the redemption, and then sadly, in the end, he also pays the iron price for trying to help his teammate here.
Yeah, the immediate turn onto Kench, but like we said, so many ultimates, and both teams know this. They know that their cooldowns are down, so XL do want to play a little bit closer to the chest, a little bit safer, which is why in situations like this, it's kind of like the hit and run. You don't want to overextend, but it also means that they need to stay next to their towers. They're not looking to get picked off, which they could lose control over the vision, which you're starting to see Vitality do. Hey, XL can approach, they don't have the necessary cooldowns. Let's make sure that we can get vision control over the Baron. So you're starting to see their jungle getting littered with wards.
And I like this because this is the kind of fundamental League of Legends we felt like was lacking from Vitality. So many individual mistakes in early to mid game kind of stopped them from ever getting to showcase clean, standard, vision-focused play where it's about lane priority, where it's about laying down these wards. And now we do get to see a bit of that. However, as the recalls come out, Caedrel is able to move in and take out some of this vision.
Because it's still the same old Vitality, and there are still holes in some of their gameplay. You know, it's still not the cleanest, but it at least feels much better for Vitality fans to see some hope, some life in the squad.
Yeah. 8K place, still absolutely a Vitality commanded game. Baron kind of the question, the ultimate opportunity to break the base for the Vitality side.
Checking in on itemization, however, Vitality, again, this is kind of one of their big power points. XL have just started to complete their first item, now moving into 1.5, looking for 2, but it's still quite a ways away. They need to survive maybe 10 more minutes in this game before they can really find a foot back into the match.
Vitality. Jiizuke realizing that he's caught between a rock and a hard place, or a bird and a crocodile. The new version of the saying goes.
They've started Baron.
They can just, yeah, they can't just clear this one out. How much time are they going to spend? Jiizuke now throwing out the Emperor's Divide. Anything you can do, I could do better, he says, as the Baron is dropping, but XL no.
It's double teleport, however, so both Expect and Mickey can TP to this, which is why Vitality, okay, we lost the interest in Jiizuke. We need them to bite again.
Jiizuke, well, will complete the back there. Mickey going to put down a little bit of pressure. Now set up to take that bottom tier 1 tower. Jiizuke, I think, unlikely to use his TP to try and save it. Vitality with complete vision control of the pit, but XL getting mid lane prio means they will need to respond to that. Now we're engaging in the Baron dance portion of the game. My favorite part of the game, Froskurinn, but a bit unfortunate that Vitality were not able to get anything on the back end of that play.
But if Vitality actually gets stalled out in this mid game by getting caught here.
Hold that thought, Attila throwing it out and then walking away. Will be okay there in the play. Now retreating, has the Merc Treads. Tenacity doing him a lot of good in that exchange.
But again, the onus is on Vitality that they need to make the plays because they're still on that timer. And again, if they get stalled out in this mid game, setting up around Baron, XL could come back into this game with their scaling.
Oh, Cabo just going to chase him down. Spotted on the ward, caught shopping. Mickey now in trouble. Is he going to go down here so incredibly low? One more auto is going to do it. Cabo takes it away. Vitality now set up to take control of the bottom side of the map.
Jactroll just there for the moral support. Obviously, if everyone showed up, he'd be able to gobble up Cabochard and take him back to safety.
Mystique's now trying to hold the wave as well. Even Mowgli is pressuring out here. That bottom tier 2 set to fall. Mowgli unconcerned about the duo, knowing that that ultimate is not available for the Sona. Zashin just now coming through, so once again, time against XL.
And this is the big thing about whenever Mickey gets caught. He's their safest iteration of wave clear because Sona and Taric really need to be on top of the wave since they don't have a traditional marksman. So anytime Mickey is out of position, it's so much more punishing for XL because they really rely on Azir to stall out this game.
Speaking of out of position, Jiizuke caught out there. We'll take a bit of a chunk, but I mean, it's difficult because once again, if this team comes into the mid game even, Froskurinn, it's just so incredibly powerful. But when you're behind like this, Sona does not play great from behind. You are going to have to give up so much more. This gold lead will continue to extend. But Sona's power is still, of course, legendary, something that The gold lead may not always show you.
I mean, she's finally got the items that she needed to do damage, which was the completed Archangels and now the Sheen.
But as we take a look at this Pro View replay, riot.com/ProView, check it out, we can see that in the view of Cabochard, this was pretty free. Yeah, he just got to walk that one down. Did have to commit the flash, but you can see even now just a very few words shared there.
It's another critical mistake from Mickey. That's twice now that he's died, and it's been the big swing of power in Vitality's pockets.
To be fair to Mickey, a lot of the power was already there for Vitality, but this has definitely made it go from bad to worse. XL now setting up around the Baron. The Desperation Baron coming through. This is a twist. Control Ward will come out and we'll stop it in its tracks, but I like that XL are fishing for those opportunities, Froskurinn.
Yeah, because if it's not warded, then you get the free Baron. They had other members there. It's one of the powers of having a likes of Azir. You can just kind of walk up to it. So I like the look. I like better the respect that they realized it wasn't going to work and immediately got off of it.
Risk it all on a 24-minute Baron call. Please, Froskurinn. It's my favorite thing to watch. XL, God, they're playing the long game. So ultimately, XL, their job is to stall. They're stalling. Vitality, their job is to close the game before this comp gets out of control.
But are they closing?
No, they're not closing, Froskurinn.
They're trying. They're trying to get top priority and mid priority.
How's that going?
Well, they got it. Woo! They're placing vision.
Run it down for me. Give me the checklist.
Two really good wards, however, that thank you, observers, for showcasing. The Baron ward, as well as the entrance, which you can see that Jactroll smelled something fishy, so he placed the control ward outside the pit.
Clever. But of course, they're using the trinket as well, so they think/know the Baron was started.
But now everything is dead. All of the vision is gone. They don't have any more blue trinkets. XL now need to check with their faces.
Steaks throws the control ward over the wall. This is a game of hide and seek. It is literally just throwing down bits of vision to see who can see who. But no one wants to commit to the fight. Cabo's not there. Remember, he is the strong member of the team. There is no team fighting without Cabochard at this point in the game.
But he has TP. Vitality just decided that they were close enough to items, so they took their back, even though they're probably going to lose a lot of their vision and setup they had over Baron, but they're just waiting, okay, we're going to have to get into a position where we force this Baron, so let's grab our last items, let's restock on our control wards, shove back priority, and then I actually expect Vitality to finally pull the trigger here.
Well, there's that mid priority. Sylas is pushing top. Kennen is backing, ready to TP in at a moment's notice.
I actually think he's going to walk towards the Baron pit.
I like it. Expecting Mystique's getting what they can. Taric potentially caught out. Flag and drag. The knockup is there. Tahm Kench looking for the follow-up. The flash over the wall.
Look at that ward right in the middle of your screen that Expect are all stepping on. That means that Kennen can TP to it. You can see him sitting in base, waiting.
Oh, man. They're going to feel so bad about that control ward placement after this one. Eyes on Cabochard. He's debating. He's waiting. He's taking his time. I think they just got to start it. They've got a Kennen who can just flank TP instantly. He's going back to the base. He wants the home guards. He says, okay, we're kicking it off. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Jiizuke on the front line has the Taric ultimate. Can keep his team safe.
He's on a timer. That ward behind them is about to expire.
A little bit of time, though. Now the flag and drag forward. Where's
Here comes
TP
Cabo.
into the flag as predicted. Jiizuke in the midst of everyone going to use the Taric ultimate. Going to be invulnerable. Taric wants to respond with something of his own, but here comes Cabochard. A beautiful push away from the Azir. Buys a bit of time. Mickey now invulnerable. Cabo in no man's land. Forced to go golden. The Taric and the Sona are surviving for now. Taric already dead. Azir alive. Jiizuke uses the stolen ultimate and will take the kill. Caedrel running for the hills. Mickey trying to use the turret to keep himself safe. Backing off now as Redemption comes out. Looks like Vitality will be able to turn away. Can they take the Baron? They have the members. Caedrel's still alive and well, however. No tank, though, really. Mowgli gonna get in there. They should be fine to take this one, but Caedrel kind of poking his head around, considering can he get into this pit? The smite not too far off.
Who's on zone control? Looks like Jiizuke. Mickey, full
TP
health.
available. Taking down Cabochard. What else can he get? Jiizuke, the sun now comes out. Mickey uses the ultimate. He gets pushed back. No, it's the stolen ultimate coming through. The Baron dropping and 2 more kills for Vitality.
And they only sacrificed 1. So Vitality, they finally did it. They set up their dominoes. Maybe it took longer than you would have liked, but they got the Baron, their first Baron of LEC Summer, and are now in control to finally pick up a win.
And I love the party hat. It feels so appropriate for these Vitality, or for this Vitality team, finally able to get something. 13K gold lead, 28 minutes to the game. A valiant defense from the side of XL, but Vitality simply too far ahead.
Now, I do want to say that this does kind of show some of the communication holes that are still in Vitality. The fact that Cabochard, to set up this play, was walking off of spawn back to spawn. What is happening in comms for Vitality that they couldn't just 100% commit to this type of play from the very get-go?
Bide their time, and in the end, it's the stolen ults from Jiizuke actually that really make the difference. Level 16 Sylas, able to take 3 ults over the course of this fight. It's the Taric, the Azir, as well as the Sona. So getting a ton out of a recently nerfed champion, and still 16, a terrifying spot. And sucks to be Mickey in this exchange. That just getting, he saw his highlight moment, he kills Cabochard, and it all goes south.
It's not feeling great for Mickey in this game.
2-4-1, 2-3-1 on the top side of the map, 0-4-3 on the bottom side. XL definitely looking quite routed in this game. Once again, 13K gold. Vitality simply walking down the bottom side of the map with this Baron buff. XL like a shotgun at this point. One more shell left. They either take out their target or they lose the game.
Not having expect here. As soon as they want, if Vitality want, like this next wave coming in, they could just try to force dive the tower. Like even if they wipe, what do they lose here?
Very true.
Yeah, that's expects like I need to actually get back.
Yeah, definitely needs to pull off. Cannot let 3 inhibitors go down. Definitely smart to give this one up. Need to pick your fights. But Vitality are no pressure. They can just keep using the Varus, the range, the safety of the Tahm Kench to slowly push this one out.
The nice thing is Expect kind of picked his moment where he shoved the top wave, so it does eat up a lot of time from Vitality's Baron. So I do like the coordination from XL to say, okay, we're sending Expect top side so he can try to stall out the Baron, because now Vitality need to walk down top side all the way to that inhib, and then he backs at the appropriate time while they also back off from the mid inhib.
Yeah, well coordinated. Jiizuke only continuing to get scarier and scarier, however. 9 stacks on a Medjai's. Stolen Taric, ultimate in his back pocket.
I don't know if he's scary so much as obnoxious. Like, I think that's just Jiizuke's point in this game. He's just abusing different ultimates against them. I don't actually think he's very scary.
I mean, okay, fair. I'll just give you, yeah, obnoxious is definitely a good word. I just think the combination of Zhonya's on a Taric ultimate is pretty toxic. That's how I would describe it, yes.
He's very slippery. It'll take a long time to kill him, but I think his purpose was kind of distraction, gaining information, walking into blind spaces.
Been doing good. And now he does a lot of damage with that stolen Sona ultimate. Once again, big cloud, small silver lining. Lich Bane is there for the Sona.
This is the moment.
Oh, they are just going to run in with this Taric ultimate and break the tower. Fantastic use of the stolen ult. XL now going to have a tough time. Do not have the luxury of a tower to back them up if this is their final fight. Jiizuke taking another ultimate. Making Sylas look so incredibly strong. There's the Taric ultimate. Mowgli now retreating as he gets the ultimate out there, trying to force something. Mowgli now in trouble. He's going to get eaten up by the Tahm Kench. Can they continue to extend this play? Jiizuke moving forward. That's the crescendo, trying to delete the Sona, but no, the Seraph's space is still there. Mowgli taken down. Cabo on the backside. Attila, though, free firing into the back line. The Varus is untouched. The Runance Hurricane, the Quadra. He wants the Penta. Oh, they're going to give it to him, buying the time. Does Jactroll going to try and take it? They want to move it. Attila, can he get it? Will the team die for it? Go for it. No! Oh, it's heartbreaking. The arrow, it's not enough. In the first win, Vitality will take it, but only the Quadra for Attila. Absolute showing of dominance. Expect is baiting him in.
Do it! Die for him!
They want it. They can't. The coordination isn't there. They'll take the win. Vitality, first win on the board.
And the only win that XL got there today was denying the Penta from the Portuguese powerhouse there, and Attila, much better look from Vitality.
Yes, much better overall, commanding from start to finish the bottom side of the map, absolutely destroying that Sona Taric lane. And Jactroll looking pretty good on the Tahm Kench everywhere he needed to be. Mowgli active in the early game. So many of the things that we knew Vitality for felt like they're coming back to life in this game, plus a few extra ones.
Cleaned up play also from Jiizuke from his previous performance last week. Looked a lot tighter than Sylas right there. And hopefully this is kind of the refresh, mental reset that Vitality need to get back into form. Because the thing was, is a lot of people were like, who actually wins? XL, Vitality, is it a coin flip? If Vitality are in form, no, it's never supposed to be a coin flip. They are much better than what they've been showing us. And it's just finally to see them back in the LEC.
Absolutely, and I was one of those people who was like, hey, this could absolutely go either way, but Vitality, just when they're counted out the most, they do come back. Always a team that we talk about momentum with. Maybe this is the start of a shift for this team, for this lineup. And smiles on the faces for the first week in a long time. Good to see a well-earned victory there.
On the other side, you have XL. They subbed in a different bot lane. They gave us a different look, you know, pulling out the Sona Taric, something that they had shied away from when given the possibility in the past. So it was clear that they had a good game plan. I even like what the game plan was.
I respect the game plan. Up against Vitality, it made a lot of sense. There were execution errors in game. They did get outclassed to a certain degree. And as we start to take a look at some Vitality highlights, I do just want to wonder, if you're putting in the stronger mechanical bot lane, why are they on Sona and Taric? That's kind of my question.
Taking a look at the last team fight, I believe. No, this is the first one where Mickey got caught out.
This is the feed as much to Cabochard. You can see Jiizuke. Do we get a signature Jiizuke cheer moment? Jiizuke. You guys are watching the screen, I'm watching the player cam. No, Jiizuke will not pop off. He's reserved this time around.
This last team fight was actually really cool. So you know that Jiizuke is holding the Sona ultimate, and they basically wait out the Taric ultimate. Like, you can see Vitality disengaging and then beautifully turning at the exact same time. Like, okay, if the Taric ultimate's done, I can now turn with the Sona ult. Like, Vitality had full control of that team fight the entire time through. There was nothing that XL would be able to do to get out of it.
Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, the most tragic part of that replay was that by Attila positioning himself closer to the fountain, he gave Renekton the double dash away. It was a game of inches for that pentakill. It was not a game of inches for Vitality. They absolutely stomped. And once again, you know, it's cool to see Vitality turn it around. It's hard to watch a team that was at the top of our league fall so far, but you know, how many times are we going to see a team go 0-4, go 0-5 at the start of the split, and then instantly shift it around? It's a big question for me. If you want your favorite to win Kia player of the game, however, you do need to go over to @eSports on Twitter and vote. We've narrowed it down to Mowgli, Attila, and Jactroll. Frosk, what do you think?
Give it to Jactroll. Give the support some love. He was on point with his Bissell Voyage. I'm actually really surprised Cabochard's not also in this mentions. It felt like he won every single team fight.
I mean, also Jiizuke, like, ulted 6 times in a single team fight. It was 3, but 6 sounds better.
Give it to everyone.
It's a team game, guys. Well, for more on Vitality's win, let's check in with Lore and their mid laner.
Thank you very much, Dracos. Jiizuke, I told you last week I wanted to see you smile again next week, so I'm really glad to have you here today. How relieved are you to finally have the first win?
It's cool to win the first time. I was never in this position 0-4 before, so it was a new thing. I think we kind of forgot what it feels like to win. So even if we played against XL, I think this win is important for us.
On a psychological aspect, I guess, and I can only imagine how hard you've been working on solving these issues you had lately. So can you talk me through the process of solving these issues, and what did you identify as mistakes lately?
I think just last year, even on the last split, we had many issues that we didn't fix, and then they just came all together at once in the summer split. And yeah, we are. I mean, it's fun to say we're working hard to fix them because we did 0-4 and this is our first win. But we are actually working hard to fix them, and we are doing all our best. So I want to ask our fans to hang in there for us, because we are doing everything we can. And
I think you heard they were cheering from you in the audience to their right. You've been saying that you're working on some issues. I want to know more. Like, what kind of issues? What was going wrong? On what you can say,
just chaos. Like, just many not focused mistakes. Like, I don't know. I'm 10-0, or Cabo is 10-0, or Attila is 10-0, and then the other side of the map is hinting, or stuff like this. Just can't close games because I guess everyone wants to carry in their own way, and yeah, just this.
You mentioned it, you never had such a rough start for a split, but I can imagine you had rough places as a player, so how can you keep your head straight in this situation and just keep smiling?
I think that's subjective, person to person. But for myself, as long as I perform myself, you'll see me with a smile on my face. But for example, and like my mental, my brain is fine. But for example, the LeBlanc game had in the first week that I actually hinted for my life. I was like, I couldn't keep a smile because I knew that I was the one that lost the game for the team. But as long as I perform myself, I think I can. My mental strength is fine, and I can just keep going and keep the positivity.
Yeah, I guess mental reset is really important in these situations. And I know Vitality has been working with sports athletes lately. How are they helping you in these situations?
It's really cool, the two worlds colliding, and we are learning a lot right now. So yeah, I hope we can work with them in the future as well.
And when I think about it, you and XL were both 0-4 before this game. So do you think this victory specifically will be the one setting you guys back on track for the rest?
Well, for sure, if we lost this game, then our confidence will really go down. We will be the last place team, like for sure. So winning now, it's for sure a step for redemption, a step up for redemption. And I hope we can close the week with 2 wins before Rift Travels comes up.
Before heading into the games you will have tomorrow against SK, there's something I noticed. When you had side selection, you only chose red. So how bad do you need to have last pick?
I really don't mind by myself, but I'm not sure if it's about the last pick or whatever. Just I think good teams can just... good teams with good champion pools, like, I don't know, G2, us sometimes, if you flex a pick until last, that's just the strength of red side, while the blue side has others.
That's understandable. We only have a few seconds left. So you were talking about the game tomorrow, facing SK. Any insights how this one will go?
I mean, I think if we play cool like today and just not chaotic, I think we can get a win for sure.
Well, I wish you good luck on Jiizuke, and thank you so much for joining me. As always, we're